Hi internet people, and this is an AHS recap. Okay, I still really love AHS Roanoke, and this week we got a ton of backstory about a bunch of different stuff that's been going on. Okay, so Shelby and Matt have a huge fight because he knows that she got Lee arrested, and then she's accusing him of having sex in the woods, but he doesn't remember, and admittedly he did have sex in the woods with Lady Gaga, who is like a wood witch. We get her backstory in this episode, which is really cool, but he doesn't remember at all, and she's like, but you did, and he's like, I don't know, and then they're in the house, and Mr. Piggy, the pig man, appears, and they're like, ah, because he's like trying to kill them, and then Elias, the professor from the videos, he appears and axes the guy, well, the spirit, and then he's like, no, I have all of this recorded, and he gives them backstory on the house. He apparently used to own the house. He did. He was just like holding on to the property so he could study it, and then he fell behind on his taxes, and the state reclaimed it, and then that's how they wound up being able to buy it at auction in the first place. But he has like all of this stuff with like super intensive details about all of the hauntings, and he talks about this immigrant couple that moved in, and they were like trying to Americanize themselves. It's a huge thing. But like the pig man started appearing in the house, and he's like, I've seen the pig man here before, the pig man's been described before, and I was like, yeah, Mr. Piggy is totally a thing. He's living in another house in LA sometimes, occasionally, you know. But he talks about the pig and about that and how these people were killed by the colony, and they're like, okay. And then he's like, but I know where Priscilla is. Like, I'm tight with Priscilla. I've talked to Priscilla. I can get Lee's daughter back. And so they go, Flora, her name's Flora. They go to get Flora, and he's like, Priscilla! And you know, he and Priscilla are not friends. I mean, they might be, but he totally gets shot with a ton of arrows, which sucks because I like, is it Dennis O'Hare? Yes. I always say his name wrong. I love him most of the time. His characters are really cool. Admittedly, his character in AHS Freak Show throws me off so much. I don't know what's going on with him. Anyway. But I was hoping to get a lot of him this season, and no. Okay, anyway. He gets shot with a ton of arrows. Maybe he'll come back as a ghost. It's a possibility. Everybody can haunt everybody all the time. But, okay, he also revealed that the sisters, the ones who turned the house into Murd House, were actually killed by the colony. They were, like, tortured. One had her arm ripped off. The other one got her head cut off. But they were killed by the colony, as part of this, like, blood moon thing. They, like, yeah, we get a ton of details. There's, like, a ritual sacrifice on the blood moon, but he doesn't talk about that. Cricket, the psychic, talks about that. There's a lot of backstory, so it's just gonna all kind of come out in a big jumble. There's a blood moon sacrifice. They have to, like, put blood in the ground, like the blood moon and the power, and there has to be blood. Because it's a thing. Like, they have to get blood to purify all the stuff. Well, Cricket has been there helping them out. Elias is totally dead now. And he's like, I'm gonna go find out what's going on, and he goes and finds Lady Gaga, who, in exchange for a promise of sex with Matt, reveals to him everything about Roanoke. It turns out this is actually the place the colony moved to. They weren't ever lost. They moved to this location on purpose, and Kathy Bates, the butcher, was controlling all of them. She was, like, in charge. She was in power because of her, like, bond, heart, oath thing with the witch. I'm just gonna call Lady Gaga the witch. I don't know what her official name is. I don't know. I was calling her the Wood Witch earlier. But Kathy Bates, as the butcher, is controlling the colony, and then now the colony is, like, uprising against her because they have tons of food. They don't feel like they need to kill people, but they actually have to keep killing people to get the sacrifices that they need. Priscilla was actually killed by the butcher to maintain the crops and stuff. And then her son leads the uprising, and she's like, ah, and she and the Wood Witch have this, like, confab, and then suddenly Kathy Bates, the butcher, I'm gonna frequently just call her by her actual name, says, like, I'm begging forgiveness and all of this stuff and body of Christ, and, like, gives them these fruits fruit from the woods, and they all eat them and are poisoned and are, like, dying, and then she kills everybody and, like, rah, rah, and purifies the ground with all of their blood, and then she lets the Wood Witch kill her because, you know, that's what you do, I guess, and so everyone is bound to the land forever because of their blood, and so they're killing people to, like, continuously purify the land and commit their bond. I think that's what it is. Like, they have to kill to maintain the bond. But she reveals all of that to Cricket, and then Cricket goes back, and he's like, I know how to get rid of them. I know all this stuff. I have to go back to my hotel and get all the supplies. Well, he leaves. When he leaves, Flora suddenly appears in the middle of the road in front of his Uber. Then he runs after her, and then doesn't come back for a very, 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 very long time. Like, they have no idea where he is, what's going on. Nothing. No one has any idea what's going on at all. Matt goes wandering out into the night. He's like, oh, I heard a noise in the thing. I don't know why. Why would you think that Elias was down there? That, like, as soon as it happened, I was like, that did not sound like Elias, that sounded like a woman. And what woman are you supposed to meet in the woods? I don't know. The witch who you promised to have sex with via the psychic? Yeah. It's not his fault. I mean, the psychic did totally blindside him with the, like, hey, yo, you have to go have sex with a witch now because she told me everything that's happening. Yeah, that happened. So Matt and Lady Gaga as the witch wind up having sex, but it, like, reveals all of Lady Gaga's backstory to him. Well, the witch's backstory, not Lady Gaga's backstory. She was apparently a stowaway on a boat. She is a descendant of, like, old magic, druidy stuff. But she stowed away to escape Europe. She got to America. The men who were sailing. What was I trying to say? I don't know. Sailing the vessel, blame her for their terrible voyage because you're not supposed to have a woman on a ship because it's superstition. So they're gonna burn her at the stake. They put her in jail, and then, like, one of the men is hitting on her, kind of, and then she stabs him with a knife that they totally should have confiscated. These guys are terrible at their jobs. And then she apparently slaughters everybody and flees into the woods. And while she's in the woods, she, like, gains power and becomes this new being and is now, like, spirit of the land? I don't know, witch spirit? I don't know exactly what she is. She's, like, melded with the new magic, so I don't know exactly what she is. But she can make bonds with the land, which is what she did for the colony of Roanoke. And then after he learns all of that, Shelby finds him and they, like, run back into the house. Then the colony is outside their door with Flora. And they're like, what are you doing? And Priscilla is a boss. She, like, pushes Flora back toward the house and away from the butcher while the butcher is about to kill her. So Priscilla literally stood up in front of the butcher and did way more than a lot of the dudes have. Like, all the people who are older than her did nothing, and she's, like, literally saving people, just like, ah. So they get Flora back, but then all of a sudden they have no clue where Cricket is, and Cricket appears. Yeah. No, the colony kidnapped him, and then they start disemboweling him in front of the house. Yeah, because right now is the blood moon period, or, like, the lead up to the blood moon, so they're, like, sort of corporeal. They can do more damage, I think. It's sort of like how in the other seasons where on Halloween there's, like, special magic going on. Not in Freak Show. Ghosts don't have, like, that was more Drake. But in other seasons it's been, like, on Halloween ghosts are more corporeal, ghosts can have more free will. So it looks like building up to this blood moon thing, which I'm guessing the, like, pinnacle of the blood moon will be the Halloween episodes. Or episodes. That was my guess, but I don't know how the build-up's gonna go because this seems like a lot of prep to build up into, like, a massive Halloween thing. I don't know. It was crazy. The disemboweling was intense. And then I made a terrible joke on Twitter about how Cricket's a psychic and he should have seen that coming. I'm so funny. That's totally a really old joke. Stolen from anything with psychics in it ever. But yeah, no, the episode had a lot of backstory, which was nice because I've been curious to know what was going on, how everybody got where they were. It's interesting to know that Lady Gaga's character was actually human at one point and now she's, like, supernatural herself. So she, like, made herself into a supernatural being that then turned everybody else into, like, supernatural-ish wood or land-bound things, like, under her domain. Like, she added them to her wood magic, I guess. I don't know. I am curious to see what else is going to happen because Lee is still in prison. So I don't know if they're getting her out because they have Flora back, so they can be like, she didn't kidnap Flora. I'm guessing she has to get out. I don't think they would just not have Lee in it for the rest of the season. But yeah, the colony is going crazy and they're, like, attacking the house and tearing it apart now. And I mean, no one is gonna leave because that never happens. Like, we don't suddenly have them fleeing far away. That never happens in haunted house movies. You think they're gonna flee and they never flee, so they're gonna be there forever. We shall see. I am very intrigued to see what happens next. I'm interested to see more backstory for what is happening. I want to know a little more about Elias' character, especially since he died and I was not expecting him to die. I was expecting a couple more episodes out of him. Just at least 2 more, maybe. So we shall see what happens. Share your AHS thoughts with me in the comments below or on Twitter at Kleffnotes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. You can find me on my blog, kleffnotes.wordpress.com. I write for the Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com. I run their Snapchat, the Nerdy Girl EXP, and to post recipes on the iZombie Sport Group site, iZombiesportgroup.com. Bye, Internet people.